The Balingup Heights Hilltop Cottages, one of the most beautiful places I've been to, and we loved it so much that we are thinking of making it our yearly getaway. So as you enter the area, you have to drive up some very steep hills and you may come across some sheep trying to escape you, but the higher and higher you go, the better the view gets. You'll have to open the gate by yourself and you'll be welcomed by the lovely Deb O'Brien. Deb welcomed us, told us about everything we needed to know, and we went off on our way to the cottage. Now the view we got was the Red Gum view, which is more hills, but there are two other cottages where the views are so beautiful, especially the sunrise, because the sun will rise either in the clouds or the mist, and that just makes the sun look so much more closer. And you can look down into the hills and you'll feel like you're on top of clouds. It's just a spectacular view. As for our cottage, there is an outside seating area which was very lovely. We just did not get to use it because of the rains, but the view was still fantastic. You get to see these fields and trees, and I got very lucky to get a selfie with the family where a rainbow is in the background disappearing between some hills. I've never seen that before. Inside the cottage itself, it's very well set up, and even for the cold, you have two options. You have the big unit, or you can do your own fire. So the fire we had going most of the time while we were inside, but they have strict instructions not to leave the fire going on, and it's pretty straightforward. You just suffocate it with the two latches. And at night we would need to have some more heating, so we would put that electric one on. The kitchen is more than sufficient. It even has rice cookers. Both the rooms had great beds. One thing to note is because this whole accommodation setting is very eco-friendly, they've done a lot to make sure we recycle, we save energy and all that, which I really love. You just have to remember the shower may not be as strong as you want. It's more misty, but it's still very nice and hot. The living area, they had a good setup with CDs and a music system. There are lots of DVDs and a small TV. They had plenty of books to read and lots of things to keep our little one entertained also. One thing I did forget to mention was that the couches were very uncomfortable, and so I had to make accommodations. We were also welcomed by Maddie, the dog, very friendly, very well trained. Around Balingup Cottages, there was in the mornings we would go for the feed, so that was feeding the sheep and the very beautiful llama, feeding the horses, feeding guinea pigs, feeding chickens, and then people go their own ways. There was a secret garden for the kids to feel like it was a fairyland. And on the whole, there was just many nice places to walk. They have a very nice lover's viewpoint. They have different sides show you different parts of things. So one side will show you part of the town and the hills. Another part will show you the sunrise area. Our side showed us more of the back hills. Now around Balingup, you have the Mushroom Cafe. We also had the old cheese factory, which is closed. That's why it's called old, as per what the trinket person told us. And next to it is that trinket shop, which is apparently the biggest trinket shop in Australia or WA. Basically, you know, like all these towns, every time you go somewhere, they have some selling point. So they have the pies and the trinkets and all that. If you need internet, you can go down to the info center or the Mushroom Cafe. They'll give you a code. And then what we did is, if we really needed it and the places were closed, we'd just park next to these places and use the Wi-Fi there. My son is very friendly, so at some point, instead of just high-fiving and saying hello to people, he took one of the other guests hostage and pulled her down this hill, and we kept trying to get him to come back. Other things we did outside Balingup, River Woodhouse and Blackwood River, which were in the town next door in Bridgetown. We had some lovely Vietnamese food there, and there was a great candy shop there. And the first time I've ever seen a guy wearing a propeller hat. We tried not to do too much as this was a relaxing getaway. So we just walked around the cottages itself, the Balingup Hilltop Cottages, which was more than enough. I'll show you, as you can see, the views, the relaxation, just spending time with the animals. It just felt like exactly what we needed. And anyway, my long-term goal is to live in a place like this, just in the hills, with my animals and my edibles, and maybe do some spiritual camps. Now once we packed up, we went to a place called Park in Donnybrook, which was very big and beautiful, and they did a very amazing almond croissant or croissant. Now some things I really liked were that all the food scrap went to the chickens, or nearly all the food scraps. They were into recycling, they were water wise. And one thing to note is, even though there is a lot of things to read and lots of signs, don't hesitate to talk to Deb or Brian, because they will tell you exactly what you need to know. But I highly recommend this place. Thank you, Deb and Brian, and hope to see you soon.